I ate like a lot of food today, like a shit ton of food. I'm very bloated, but it's cool. It's cool because I got some studying done. I learnt a couple of things. Those things were like pretty small, but they weren't insignificant, right? Something was about one thing was about kind of, it was anatomy based, and kind of like how the muscles kind of look when they're in a certain way, basic stuff. Another thing was kind of about like clothes rendering. I'm still trying to get that comic book artist down. The kind of the technique that he used. I think I'm getting better at it. I'm understanding now that a process itself, even if once you've worked it out, it does take time and practice to kind of give it a kind of place within your arsenal, right? You can't just plonk someone else's process in to your own way of working and expect it to work right away. You need to integrate it. You need to practice it. You need to more fully understand it. And you need to you need to practice. Practice is a crucial part of study, and it's a part that I don't do enough of. It's hard to balance between learning new things and practicing the things you've already learned and trying to embed them. I think maybe a 50-50 time split of those two things would be good. Or maybe rather than doing that, maybe a 1/3 time split of studying new things, learning from other pieces of reality or other pieces of art. So that's 1/3 of the time. 2/3 of the time is practice. Banging out reps over and over and over again. Those things that like fill sketchbooks up with little drawings, that kind of practice. And the third one would be like testing out what you've learned from the previous two steps. Testing out is like so important. I'm learning more and more. You gotta test out. You gotta test your shit. You gotta test it. So if you don't test it, how are you gonna know you've learned it? Very similar to kind of school system in that way, I suppose, but it's effective. So test out your shit. Test it out. And then when you see any flaws in the test that you do, you can come to conclusions about why that happened, and then you can create a whole new round of studies, and the cycle goes on and on and on until you get fucking amazing at art. That's how it goes, basically. That's how it goes, and I'm realizing that more and more. I'm understanding that concept more and more. This kind of learning journey for me is kind of it's not stabilizing, but I'm progressing in it. That's all I can really say, which is all I really need. That's progression and forward movement is all I ask for. I'm not trying to reach a certain goal in a certain time. I'm just trying to keep making steps forward on this journey, because I know that realistically, if I speed up the steps I'm taking right now, because they are a bit slow, if I speed them up, then whatever goal that's like art related that I have will be like very, very, very attainable in the future, which is a comforting thought. So but the actual study today was like anatomy stuff and cloth rendering stuff, and just rendering in general, kind of practice, like the whole process of rendering and painting. And while I was doing these studies, the sense of focus really was there. I was analysing my process, I was analysing the reference, I was analysing everything. An analytical mind is something that I need to build upon, that I'm learning. Because when you have, people talk about this like left side of the brain, right side of the brain kind of thing. I'm definitely dominant on one side. From like, in my own opinion, I am. So whatever that other side is, it needs to be built up, because I'm not about having a massive imbalance in the kind of core of my body's architecture, right? I don't want an imbalance there. I want to kind of smooth that out. I want to kind of put some strength into the other side. And I think that side, the side that isn't strong for me, is like the kind of analytical, intelligent, logical side. Because I'm going to be real, I'm kind of a retard. I'm semi-retarded, So I need to stop being so retarded, and I need to like fucking play chess or something. Like that sentence there probably illustrated how much of a retard I am. Anyway, so yeah, maybe I'll start playing chess, and maybe I'll start doing something that works on that side of the brain, the logical side, whatever that is. I think one way to do that is learning an instrument. One way to do it is definitely playing chess or some other kind of strategy-based, analysis required game. Because I think those skills just benefit your life in general, like situational problem solving, that kind of thing. I'd say I'm pretty good at problem solving. I'm not sure if that falls under the side of the brain that I'm talking about, but yeah, I need to get better at like logical thinking, rational kind of thinking. I know that like fundamental rationality is kind of impossible because we're like imperfect, irrational beings, right? It's unreasonable to ask an irrational being to seek rationality, I think, or to like come up with a rational way of living or way of being. Yeah, so like, I mean, at its core, nothing is like rational for a human, but I mean, in terms of like just getting better at art, I think you can probably come to a level of kind of, rationality and stuff that applies there, and that isn't really knocked by the concept that fundamentally there is no like truth, or that is no truth that we can comprehend. Where was I? I was talking about training the logical side of my brain, because when I'm studying, I find that it's much more difficult than I ever anticipated to be kind of analytical in that very moment. Like, say if I'm doing a set of studies, rather than and then I do like a little test, rather than going over that test and referencing it, slowly and carefully with the reference and seeing where I went wrong and see where I could improve. Rather than doing that, I'll just kind of move on to another test or another set of studies, which is good because you're not like you're doing something productive in that time that you would have been analysing the last piece of work. But at the same time, the analysis part is very important. To see where you went wrong is like very important, very, very, very important, because then how else would you improve, right? So I think I need to do more of that and just like have a more kind of logical, level-headed, analytical mindset going into studying. So yeah, that's the goal for tomorrow, and obviously more studies. But yeah, that's about it. Have a good day.